To the people who can't really afford that
Yeah.
that amount, what do you do if you're them? You want to get back into shape. What's the advice you say to them?
So I believe that there's so many different avenues to ways to educate yourself on certain things. I try my best to perceive myself as someone who's approachable.
Got it.
Ask someone that you see. If it's someone that if it's a matter of not having the funds, not having the money, I really would say find a way to be active. Figure out what you like to do, what makes you happy to do it, something that you're going to be able to fulfill consistently, because that's what it takes is consistency. It might not necessarily be that a trainer may not be the best thing for you. It may be finding something that you can do on your own that you're going to look forward to doing. And it may not even be a gym.
Right.
Lifting a dumbbell made of iron isn't the best thing for everyone.
Right.
An indoor setting at 5 o'clock a.m. may not be the best thing for someone. It might be a jog in the afternoon. It might be jump roping in the morning. It might be taking a walk with your son. It could be different things. I would just advocate for just being active. The human body is so incredibly remarkable in that it can do so many different things.
Yeah. All right, with another episode with you guys. We have a guest today. We got beautiful Ollie in production.
Hi guys.
Hey, Ollie.
What?
How's your foot doing?
Oh, my ankle.
She broke her foot, by the way, before we started her show.
I'm
And
pretty
she's
sure- I'm
still
pretty
here
sure it's
producing
broken,
the
yeah.
show. So
What?
we're going to take her to the ER
Yeah.
right after the show. Just walking the dogs. Boom. She broke
I tripped over one of them.
Alrighty. To today's guest, we got someone who's got a lot. I'm going to pick his brain about a lot of things. We got a bodybuilder, a fitness model, a role model, my friend Anthony Woods. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I feel honored to be here.
Thank you so
Appreciate you
much.
making the
Thank you
time to
so much
speak
for
with
coming
me.
down, by the way.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it,
thank
man.
you.
I'm honored to be here.
You got
Absolutely.
some nice stuff that you're wearing. What is that? Talk
This
to
whole
us about
thing
that.
right here.
What is that?
It's the chest rig. Live Fit, my
Okay.
clothing sponsor, is dropping some dope apparel tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Okay.
This chest rig, two other colors,
Okay.
some hats, some hoodies, some shorts.
You gotta send me the link so I
some
can have it in the
female apparel.
description.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
I need some sizes. Need
Yeah,
some sizes. I'll take care of you.
just send me the link. I'm gonna be a customer for sure. I love.
I appreciate
that.
it. I appreciate
love
it.
that stuff. Holy cow, the color is nice.
Thanks.
And you got different colors as well.
Yeah, so I travel a lot. I'm always on the road, and I've been known to forget a wallet, forget a phone, forget some keys.
I'm with you.
You know,
there.
so I figure if I have it on my chest, somewhere easily accessible, I can get to it, in and out of Ubers and stuff like that. It works out.
It
well.
looks manly too. It doesn't look like the old man purse you put. You know
I'm
what I mean?
trying to look cool as much as I possibly can these days.
It
works,
really
it
it
works,
looks
man.
like something new. I haven't seen anything like it in the market, so I really like it. So
I
I'm
appreciate
definitely
that,
gonna
man.
pick up a couple colors for sure.
Do that, man. You
For
won't
sure.
you won't be sorry. I've been rocking this all day.
No, I kind
Haven't
of want to
forgotten
buy this
anything
one
yet.
off of him already, just like snag it off.
There we
But
go.
he's too big. That's the problem.
I'm working on it, man. I'm trying my best.
So how long have you been bodybuilding for?
Well, I've been training in the gym since I was about 13 years old. I'll be 35 in May. I'm terrible at math, but it's been some time.
That's okay. We're all terrible on that.
Man, I'm embarrassingly terrible at
Let me
math.
ask you this: When was
Sure.
the last time you used geometry?
What is geometry? again?
Exactly.
I don't
Like,
know.
we
I
just
mean,
absolutely no reason to take. But anyway, I won't say
Man,
that.
Yeah, I don't.
I
use
feel like I'm gonna get cursed out by a
I am
geometry
too. I
teacher.
already know I got some stuff in my inbox waiting already right now.
But no, seriously, 13 to 35. But you were training to do You did basketball back in college.
Yeah. So I was an athlete really young, and I was really skinny.
Okay.
Pretty skinny kid. So I looked up to this guy in my neighborhood, and he'd always rebound for me when I would go shooting. And he goes, man, if you want to take basketball seriously, man, you're gonna have to get stronger. And that was something that I hadn't seen in the magazines. I didn't see that on TV. They didn't show that in the commercials. That stuff I didn't know. So it was foreign to me. So I had to, kind of investigate it. And so, I was really young, and I would play basketball in the gym, and then I I'd shoot in the gym, and then I would go to the weight room and kind of watch what other people were doing and picking up some habits. And that's where it started.
It's not easy. It's a big science behind it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
And you're the third bodybuilder that I have this week alone.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. And you're the second person that has his pro card. Actually, the first person that I interviewed this week, he's like the second person in Romania. And he's very upcoming. Yeah.
Wow. Congrats to him.
Yeah. He's
Congrats to him. That's big.
And we were just talking about the dedication it takes, about how much work, how much. It is not an easy sport.
It's a lot. A lot goes into it. It's a lot.
Trust me. Yeah. I know what you're going through. I feel you. I feel you. So let's go from your experience. How many hours do you work out a day when you're not competing?
For me, when I'm competing and when I'm not, my training regimen is almost the same.
Wow.
Identical. Yeah. So it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours if I'm being extraordinarily methodical or a little bit more intricate than any other day. If it's a muscle group that I need to kind of bring up to speed, if it's something I know I'm lagging on or something that I actually enjoy training a little more than another muscle group, then maybe I'll take a little more time. Okay. But usually it's an hour and a half to 2, something like that.
So that's whether you're competing or not competing, it's an hour and a half every day. Any rest days at all?
Well, the way I approach my rest days is I don't necessarily designate a day during the week to rest. I just kind of more so listen to what my body is going to tell me and respect to how it responds to the loads and how I can recover. Right. If I feel good, if I feel good, I'm running. That's why I enjoy training. It's not necessarily a chore.
You have to learn to love it. It doesn't come overnight, for sure.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Right. I can't remember a time that it wasn't anything except 100% euphoric for me.
I think it helps that you look like Hercules. You look good. I'm a very straight dude, and when I saw him, I was like, damn.
I appreciate that sentiment.
You look good, my friend.
That means an awful lot.
Trust me. You look very good, and I know you're putting a lot of work behind it.
I do my very best. I enjoy every moment of what I do. So
good.
I'm honored to do it.
Is cardio important?
Is cardio important?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, no. Is it important?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it have to be treadmill? Does it have to be stairs? Or could it be in a form of like, I see you, by the way, working out in UFC gyms.
Yes, sir.
So do you box? Do you kickbox? Is that your cardio?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have a good buddy of mine named Thomas. I'm Thomas Foe.
Shout out to Thomas Foe, by the way.
Guys, please. He's the guy that I'm going to when I'm ready to box ASAP. But does it have to be Stairmaster or anything like that? Not necessarily. I think, in my field and in what I do, cardio is for me is a means to lose body fat, obviously. It's also a means to make sure I can train efficiently. So, very, very often I'm training at a heavy load, and I'm out of breath before my muscles are taxed. Right. And so, cardiovascular capacity is tremendously beneficial when you're lifting something heavy. So a lot of times I'm in cardio preparing to kick some ass,
there you go.
Tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's mentally you got to be prepared for.
Absolutely. And going off of that mental note, most of my cardio is in the morning, and I use that time as to take some time to have a psychological check, so to speak. What I mean is to make sure I can check into what I'm doing and remember why. Your why is almost more important as to how you perform anything, right? And if your why is efficient, anything else will follow. So a lot of times your why isn't efficient, it's not sound. Right. So everything else is going to be unsound.
So you could be doing the hard work, but it doesn't mean you're gaining anything.
Correct. So a lot of times I use my cardio as to make sure my why is as sound as it could be.
Okay. Okay. So most of the muscles, they keep telling us like you gotta rest this muscle this certain amount of days. You gotta do only your arms once a week, twice a week. What do you say about that? Do you actually gotta rest a certain muscle more than the other?
I don't want to.
I want to hear how you work out, my friend. I know everybody's genes are different.
This is how I do it. So I don't follow any rules.
Okay. I like that already.
I don't follow any rules. I have a a partner in crime, my coach, Ariel Alberto. He goes by Cuts on Instagram. He'll let me know what he sees in my presentation.
Okay.
And he'll say, hey, I think we need to bring up, like, for example, shoulders was a really big, shoulders were a target area historically for us. So he'll say, hey, I need you to bring this up. And I'll try certain methods as to how I can do that with exercise and nutrition. And what we found was if I train my shoulders every single day, no matter what else I'm doing in that day, to continuously stimulate that muscle group and to keep blood and keep nutrients in that muscle group for me was beneficial. And I had tremendous results doing that. Science may say I needed a rest day, and science may have said I overtrained, but I trained my shoulders every day for about 3 years almost.
Every day?
Yeah, about 2.5. I don't want to exaggerate. 2.5 years.
God damn.
So if I was training legs, we would have an ordinary balls to the wall leg day.
So you work out an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
How much do you put into your shoulders?
So if during this period of time when I would train them every day, whatever muscle group I was training, we train that muscle group, and towards the end, right before I would leave, I would do 3 exercises per head of the muscle of the head, so side, front, and rear. I
gotcha.
And I would just do 3 exercises per head, nothing to failure, but just stimulate it and just kind of reiterate that neuromuscular pathway so that you're keeping blood and keeping the muscle awake, so to speak. 'Cause that's the way I like to reiterate it to myself.
I completely feel you there.
Same way you would practice a free throw, practicing this exercise.
Keep going at it.
Yeah.
I feel you. Okay. Talked a little bit about your workout regimens. How about your diet? What are you a big fan? What are your no-nos?
So let's see. Big fan.
And the reason why I'm asking this is just because there is so many diets out there.
Sure.
And I know everyone is different. Again, it always comes down to what's going to work for you. Everybody's genes are different, and we get that.
Sure.
But when you just go open up, for example, Google, and you're like, diets, and you find keto, you find intermittent fasting, you find this, you find that.
Yeah.
It can get confused. You can definitely get lost over there.
Sure.
So what has worked? What have you tried, and what has worked for you?
So initially, when we first started competing, my coach and I, when I say we, it was keto.
Okay.
It was keto. Keto was what worked. We tried some things at first, but what we stuck with for a bit of time was ketosis, and that worked for the first 2 Olympias, I believe, up until the 3rd. And then something changed. I'm not sure. My metabolism changed. Maybe I'm getting a little older. I don't know what took place, but it just stopped working as efficiently as it worked prior, and then we just loaded carbs. So cream of rice was our tool of choice, and we just completely loaded every meal with cream of rice in the last last year or so. Got it. And traveling and having to have cream of rice heated up and stuff was a bit of a chore, but it was what was needed to be done, and it worked phenomenally for us. So what has worked for us in the past, like we've tried a lot of different things, and different things have worked depending on what we're trying to present on stage. And so that kind of goes into what I mean when I was talking about like training as being an art form, bodybuilding being an art form, is if you're attempting to present something and you're using tools as exercise or nutrients, rest, supplementation, right?
You gotta take the right supplements.
Absolutely. For sure. All of these things are you can say this is paint on your canvas to create something. And so a lot of times, if we're trying to create something a little bit different, we're going to change the paint up. We're going to change what we're using and change the mediums for that art. If you know what I'm trying to say.
I definitely feel what you're saying. So talked about workouts, talked about diets. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about you. Sure. You've competed in a lot of competitions. Yeah. Which ones did you enjoy the most?
Oh my goodness. Good question. Holy smokes.
Thank you,
No one's ever asked me that.
Really? No one?
Goodness.
I tried to do a little bit of research, and I know a little bit more than, I tried to pull as much footage about you. I've seen a lot of footage. You have very little footage on YouTube. I've seen your old podcast, and I'm trying not to ask you the same questions so that I can get your audience to know you a little better.
I appreciate that question. No, I've gotten that one. Jeez. What? Go ahead.
Take your time, by the way. No worries.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I'm not in any fashion really a competitive person, so to speak, at all. And so,
you're not?
Not at all.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And so a lot of the contests that stick out to me have really nothing to do with the contest's results or even really the contests themselves, it kind of more so had to do with, let's say, the show that one of the shows that let's see, I want to make sure I can remember this correctly. Man, bravo!
Thank you.
Phenomenal question.
Thank you, my friend.
The first, I won a contest in San Jose.
Okay.
I believe it was the 2018 San Jose Pro, and it was on my mother's birthday.
Okay.
And I had done a bunch of shows that year, and that show wasn't on the schedule.
Okay.
And I was dead broke.
Okay.
My best friend, Katie Taylor, she and I were traveling the country, and we were trying to figure out how to make this show work. I was stressing out about every little thing that I could stress out about.
Yeah.
And I forgot it was my mom's birthday.
Oh.
I forgot it was her birthday.
And it happens.
And she showed up to my contest.
Wow.
And I told myself, I gotta win the show. Like, I gotta win the show. Like, I forgot it was her birthday. I'm stressing out about all these things. My mind is on all these things: travel, the food, the rest, my tan, my haircut, my shorts, all these things. And I forgot it was July 1st. Her birthday is July 1st. I love you, Mom. I forgot the date. Not that I forgot it was her birthday. I just forgot what day of the month it was. I just forgot. I was thinking about a bunch of other things. And she showed up, and I ended up winning that contest. And it was a really, really big deal because she showed up to the show. She didn't show up to all of them. She came. It was her birthday.
So it worked out perfectly for you
and
for her.
Yeah, it was a really,
because that's special.
It was important. And the guys I was on stage with were some of the guys that I share a lot of things in common with. And it was a phenomenal contest. These guys brought amazing packages.
Right.
I was humbled to compete against these guys, and it was a great night all the way around, for sure.
See, this is the reason why I do these kind of this podcast. I've quit everything I'm doing so I can concentrate on this, and this is what I enjoy doing. It's just sitting with people and picking their brains. And I just told you, I literally sat down with 3 different bodybuilders. You're my third one this week, and everyone takes it differently. The last thing I would have thought about you, I mean, the way you look, the way you talk, the way is competitive. You're not a competitive person. And that is, wow, that it's not a bad thing. It's just that's not something I would ever point because of the way, how much work you put into your craft.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
When you put in so much work into any craft, you got to have a little bit of, competitive side. But you don't. No. So what drives you to keep doing your craft?
It's a complicated question for me because there's a lot of emotion and a lot of training and what I do every day is a really personal thing for me because of the way that it was introduced in my life and the role, I guess, that I placed it and how I grew up and how I used it to I guess like manifest ways I wanted to live my life or practice certain principles. For example, discipline and as a male dealing with temptation. Right. I practice the manners in which I deal with temptation in real life, like in my practice and training. Right. So there's temptation everywhere in food. Right. There's McDonald's on every corner. It's just an essential business these days. In-N-Out. I've seen you in In-N-Out. I've seen your videos in In-N-Out. That wasn't me.
It's like it wasn't. Hey, listen, bodybuilders eat In-N-Out. Don't even. It's like, no.
Never in my
life. It was like, no.
On the record, I've never
There's footage on YouTube, by the way.
My coach is watching.
It's like, gotta go delete it.
My coach is watching. But I learned. There's temptation to go off of track everywhere.
Right.
I use certain avenues and certain internal dialogue with myself to keep myself in track with that type and that form of temptation, and I translate that in that how to control temptation and other things.
Right.
For an example, and so what keeps me going is how I can translate it to everyday life that's not related to training. Certain things have to do with everyday life. I can't control the traffic. I can't control the weather.
No.
Can't control how people respond to me.
But you can control everything else about you.
I can control my effort 1,000%, even on my bad day, right? So that's a reminder, an exercise of that reminder, so to speak, like, right? Like, no pun.
Yeah.
But that's like, you can exercise and practice that, and then perform that in real life. So it keeps me on the straight and narrow. But also, I think I'm good at what I do. And it's something that it's an art form to me, and I happen to compete on stage, but I was doing this before I knew about competing, and I figure there are a lot of people who appreciate art. They'll hang art, they'll paint art, they'll do all types of things, but I find a grand affinity in wearing mine.
I love your answer, but I think you're a very humble person that you're not kind of giving it all. I think you're forgetting that you're a role model. You're a role model not only to because I know you have 2 kids, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have 2 kids. You're a role model to them, and I feel like that alone will push you, to thrive every day.
Sure.
And plus, I've seen your Instagram. You have your little army behind you. People watch your stuff all the time. People follow you all the time. People listen to you all the time. So believe it or not, you're a role model to that kind of community, to those people.
Sure.
And I feel like the humble person in you is kind of like, no, I'm just, kind of giving me the good answer, which is great. But I think you're selling yourself short, my friend.
Well, the truth is, those individuals inspired me more, just as much as they may say I inspire them. And my pull-up is a pull-up. It looks just like their pull-up. Muscle doesn't know number. There's no stress.
That's it.
And if I'm struggling, it's the same as someone else struggling.
Yeah.
And so I just happen to have been doing this a lot longer than many have been doing it. And I happen to know that I truly love what I do. And I figured that out really early. And I feel kind of lucky to found that.
Oh, for sure.
But when it comes to being a competitive person, the only thing I'm really kind of going against is, I was talking to my friend about this the other day, and it's when I die, I'm terrified of coming face to face with the person that I would have been if I fulfilled potential. I'm terrified to come face to face with this guy named Anthony Woods, who could have been something if he just pulled the trigger and exercised potential.
I feel you.
Hopefully, when I die, I look in the mirror or look at this person, and he looks like me.
And you're satisfied.
He looks like me.
Gotcha.
We look like the same guy. I hope we're identical.
I got
or
you.
Very close to being.
I feel you.
And that's what I'm trying to match.
With everything that you're doing right now, is there a stop button eventually where I just, hey, listen, I'm done. I'm at this age. I just want to relax. I'm done working out 7 times a week. I'm done competing. I'm done. I'm just gonna be a normal human being. I'm not gonna be Superman anymore. Do you see yourself at any age just pressing that stop button?
Absolutely not.
So hold on. So you see yourself as a 75 years old, just like going at it at the gym 7 times a week?
More than that.
Really?
More than that. That's my end game.
Okay.
Like, there are people that are like, I want to be 20-time Olympian. I want to I want to be 85 years old and moving and be healthy. I want to be able to lift some things. I want to be comfortable in my skin.
Okay.
And that's the end game for me. That's the trophy.
Right.
That's the anybody can do it when they're 35.
Can you eat in and out twice a week then, or no?
What is in and out?
Like, what is in and out? What is this in and out?
Yeah, is that? Yeah, show me what that is, and then when the show's over, maybe we should check it out for the first time ever.
What is this Taco Bell you keep talking about? Never heard about it before.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I don't in any way look at what I do as work. I got a lot of responsibilities,
I feel you.
I refuse to have bodybuilding be one of them, and I'll stop when it's not fun. And it's been fun. I can't remember a time that I walked in the gym and I didn't know what to do. It was that long ago, and so no way. What
were you doing during coronavirus when they decided to shut down all the gyms, everything? How were you mentally, first of all?
So this is the thing. I had a ton of stuff in my garage, but I was getting ready to kind of build a home gym like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And when you have a bunch of stuff that you see over and over and over that you just stop seeing because you see it so much. So I began to panic a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, man, what am I going to do? Because I would have lost my mind. That's not in any way an exaggeration. Like you would have saw me on the news.
I believe you.
Like,
here's the problem. I believe you.
People who don't do what we do don't get it.
I've seen your Instagram. I believe you, my friend.
A catastrophe for everyone around me. It would have been bad. But I sat down and I was like, wait a minute. And I kind of accumulated some things. Had some friends that had some ways to help me out a little bit too. I don't want to discredit anyone and act like I didn't get help. Some people, some really caring, some very generous people lent a hand and helped me out in that process. But I was frightened, but I got through it. It was not easy, man. It's terrible.
I went to Walmart. Yeah. It was empty. I went to Target. It was emptier. Amazon, everything was out of stock. Everything was out of stock. There was no. First of all, Amazon stopped like that 2 days, 3 days, one day. That it was done. You couldn't get your stuff within a day or two. Everything was a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, and everybody pressed that, panic button, and everybody went to Walmart and they started panicking. A
lot of us depend on movement and those positive vibrations and that positive energy. We depend on that more than just to lose weight and to be healthy. A lot of us, it's psychological.
It's a must. People drink coffee every day. If you just come and take their coffee away, they're gonna freak out.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. Ollie's one of them. I never had coffee in my life. I've never tasted it.
Oh man, no way.
Never had coffee.
I have to have like 3 by like 10 a.m.
Oh my
god. I never had coffee. I had a sip when I was 12. My memory, registered that it was a bad thing, and that's it. Never had it. Had a beer. Had a sip of a beer when I was 12 or 13. Registered it was bad. Never had another beer again.
Interesting.
Done.
That's an interesting. So are you that way with many things? Like you try it one time.
If I try it one time, I don't like it, I'm done with it. And mostly at that early age, yes.
Oh, I see.
Like beer and coffee, I never had. I had wine. I had other drinks before because I tried it later on in my life.
I see.
Now you could get me the best beer in the world. I could not have it. I still think it's disgusting. Coffee. I'm 31 years old. And everybody looks at me and they're like, how'd you function without coffee? And I have more energy than anyone.
Interesting.
Yeah. Never had a hangover. Never slept over that 9 o'clock.
I'm
no matter how late I'd sleep.
I'm intrigued. Not at that you tried it and didn't like it and didn't have any interest in trying it. I'm intrigued that you tried it, didn't like it, didn't have any interest, and stood fast with that perception. Most people would go back and try to acquire.
Yeah.
Try to acquire based upon social norms.
No, not like that.
Right.
Not like that.
Society tells me this is good. Everyone drinks it. I should try to make sure I like this too. And you didn't do that. That's interesting.
It is
Same thing with beer.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Even more so with
beer. Yes. But even more so with beer. It's very interesting because even growing up, like there's some things like, I saw my dad smoking cigarettes.
Sure.
So my brain registered, even though my parents like, oh my God, smoking is bad, smoking is this. But my brain registered cigarettes are okay because I've seen my dad doing it on a daily basis. But weed, on the other hand, is the worst.
Interesting.
I could never touch weed, but I will definitely try a cigarette. I smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed.
Interesting.
Exactly. But if you go, scientifically or whatever, of course, weed is much better.
Sure.
But to me, there's still parts of that brain's like, oh my God, no, weed is a drug. Drugs are bad. If I do this, I'm going to end up being like this. That's it.
Sure. It has a lot to do with upbringing and just your perception.
Definitely.
With your dad.
Absolutely.
That's dope, man. That's cool.
Absolutely. It's not cool that we smoke, but that I smoke. It's definitely not cool.
Yeah.
Get off of that shit. But it is cool how the mental works.
How the mind works. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That's where my headspace is constantly is noticing social traits, what people do, why do people do what they do, and do they know why? Do they really know why?
The mind is a very, very funny,
Absolutely.
Game, you know what I mean? Like you gotta be very careful with everything.
Absolutely.
With everything. When is your next competition?
Good question. So the way this works with my coach and I is, like I was telling you, I train the same all year. I like to train. This is the way I like to spend my time, So I train the same. I eat however he prescribes me a diet. I follow the diet year round. I check in with him just about every day, if not weekly. And like I'm saying, I'm not really much of a competitive person, so I don't really have a pulse on many of the contests and the schedules. He does. He has to. It's his job. So I'll check in one morning and he'll say, hey man, I think I want to hop in this show, and I'll say, when's that? He'll let me know, and that's what it is. So we might hop into something in the next few weeks.
Okay.
Not quite sure. He pulls the trigger or presses the button on that, but pretty close to something. I'm excited.
And we're talking about someone who has his pro card.
Yes, sir.
That is not easy to get.
That was hard.
That is not easy to get. I can
say that was hard to do.
My other buddy that came in earlier this week, Alex, he was telling me how hard it is. It's not an easy thing. Let's talk about that. What struggles did you go through to actually get that pro card?
Man, that was hard. So my first contest was in San Jose. I was fortunate to win that contest, and my coach, he goes, hey man, you ever been to Chicago? And I go, never, man. Right off stage. The same night, it was like maybe 15 minutes when I got off stage. He goes, you ever been to Chicago? I said, no, sir, never. And he goes, you want to do a show in Chicago? I'm like, all right, man. Yeah, when's that? He's like, 12 weeks. I'm like, cool. So what do we do now? And he goes, well, like have a meal tonight with your mom and your parents and stuff, but like Sunday morning, tomorrow, like back at it. Yeah. And so we did that an entire year. We did that from I started the diet. That show was in January, but I started the diet for that contest in October. So I dieted essentially October to October, and we went to Chicago. I think I got third that show. We ended up going from Chicago to Pittsburgh, from Pittsburgh to South Carolina to Miami. I want to say back to Chicago, and that's when I got it.
That's when you got it?
Yeah.
So what do you need to actually get a pro card? Is there like, do you need to place a certain...
Yes, sir.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So depending on the show, you might need to win your class. Depending on the show, you might need to get first or second in your class. You might need to be first or second in the whole contest. So that might mean, you could win your class and get third in the overall and not get your pro card. It just depends on the show. And we did all those shows.
We're all from Chicago in this show. Me, I don't know if you ever watched the show, but I might have Danny Blue Eyes, my co-host. He's from Chicago. Beautiful Ali's from Chicago. The person, Happy Kathy, she's not from Chicago, but she's from Michigan. But she lived in Chicago most of her life. So we're all from Chicago. How'd you like Chicago?
The best pizza I've ever had.
The deep dish?
Entire life. I'm going to say it wrong.
Giordano's, you got it.
No, you got to try Lumalnati's.
There's a better place than that?
Yes, there is. 100 times better.
100 times better?
Yeah. I don't know about 100 times. I think you're over-exaggerating.
There's this app called Golden Belly. You can order it and have it sent to you.
Okay, hold on. Don't do that because they're going to charge you like $100 freaking for like a medium pizza.
It's delicious.
No, it's not that delicious.
If it's better,
it's
better. Worth it.
It is better. I will say this. Luminati's is slightly better than Giordano's. It took me actually a couple of years to decide that fact. But
blasphemy.
No, not blasphemy.
Blasphemy.
It's the best. Number one.
But I do believe, yes, Luminati got a slight edge over Giordano's. Giordano's still very good pizza, but Luminati's is very up there.
I loved it.
Did you have a Chicago hot dog, style hot dog?
All I had was the pizza.
That's it?
Yeah, so this is the deal with traveling like that during that period of time was I showed up Wednesday night, prepped and trained and rested for the contest, and we flew out Sunday usually. So when I was naming those different cities and states, I just saw the venue in my hotel room really until it was time to leave.
Yep.
So I didn't really get a chance to eat a whole lot of different places.
Got it. Okay. So going back to you a little bit. Okay, so you played basketball, you go into bodybuilding, you're super, focused on what you do right now. You got your pro card, and then you just gave up sports.
Sure.
Completely. You're like, I'm done playing basketball, I'm going to go into bodybuilding. You don't even watch basketball.
Not really.
We were just talking earlier how the teams changing and,
Yeah.
They change cities, they change rosters all the time. It's hard to keep up with, huh?
Yeah, as a kid, you get attached to watching Kobe play for the Lakers.
Yeah, of course.
You just get attached to the franchise, and you just you have a team and you have a relationship with those people.
Yeah.
it's not that way anymore. It's like a pickup basketball, like pickup. You know, one day we're teammates, next minute we're not. We're opponents, and for me, it's just hard to follow. I feel like it's a soap opera almost. If I miss it for a couple of days or something, I'll miss an entire episode or something.
Absolutely, it's not easy.
What? He's on that person's team? I thought he's the coach now?
It is a lot to keep up.
I thought he was a ref. He's a point guard now? Like, all kind of crazy stuff.
So what do you do when you're working out? Just listening to music?
Honestly, I listen to a lot of R&B music. I'm a big R&B guy.
Not R. Kelly, not R. Kelly. Calm down, people. Not R. Kelly.
Can't play that.
Not R. Kelly. Okay.
No, sir. I'm big on some good melody.
Got you.
I'm an audiophile. I love music. I'm always listening to music, but truthfully, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and just silence. You know, sometimes it's nice to. In my life, there's a lot of chaos. A lot of times, I'm relating to a lot of different people. I'm interacting with a lot of different people a lot of times, and some silence and hearing the weights communicate with each other sometimes is peaceful, you know?
Yeah, no, I like where you're at. Your place, very nice. I mean, we've been going through a lot as a country. Can't always talk about that because it's just super stressful.
Absolutely.
And talking about everything. I'm talking about the COVID, about outside, about this, that. It's just so much going on. You got to find that zen place.
I try my best.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just
best.
find that zen place.
I think it's good for everyone.
Keep that happiness going because you open the news, man, it's just depression after depression after depression.
Absolutely. Which is why it's crazy when the gyms close. That's for a lot of people. That's where they can kind of escape that and create a little bit of that positive energy for themselves.
Dude, I used to wake up every morning thinking I had coronavirus.
Oh, man.
I'm not joking, every morning. You know why? Because I was doing like 10 hours of news every day.
And you're a little bit of a hypochondriac.
I was waking up, I'm like, can't breathe. Oh my God. Like literally every morning.
Kind of does that to us all right about now, you know?
Yeah, and then I listened to Dr. Phil. Is like, hey, listen, do it for 15 minutes when you wake up, 15 minutes before you go to sleep. Leave it alone.
Yeah, and interact with one another.
And I started doing that.
Energy.
I can't stop. I just went to Mexico. I just came back 2 weeks ago from Tijuana.
How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
I fucking loved it. It was great. It was freaking. The beaches are nice to be at.
Vacation time.
I went to Rosarito. We had a nice party at a nightclub over there. We went, but we had our Airbnb was by La Playa, so it was like right off the beachfront. Dude, we had a beachfront place, beautiful spots, $100. We taxed like $120. And by the way, that was same day. I'm not even joking. My friends that were like that actually go there all the time. They're like, we could have gotten a lot better if you'd given us 1 week or 2 weeks.
Like $50.
Yeah, no, it was like $120 we could have had in the balcony, so far out that you feel like you're in the water.
Oh my God.
Like little. And by the way, my whole half of the apartment, like all the windows, beachfront.
So I'm guilty of not having a passport.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But when I do get the guy,
oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna contact
Let's
you.
go.
I need to be way out there.
For sure. For sure. You can get, by the way, everyone, I've been telling my friends, everybody get your freaking passport.
I feel bad. I feel lame.
We're in Huntington Beach, and I know where do you live now?
Monterey.
Okay, and you're thinking of making the move over here.
I'm needing to make a move.
I'm going to tell you this. Stop thinking too much, or you need to do it.
Just do it.
When we moved from the Midwest, it's the best decision we ever made. The weather is always nice. We're not in that LA traffic, constant problems all the time. OC is what it's at. It's nice. People are not as crowded. The traffic is not as bad as LA, Huntington Beach, Newport, even Long Beach, even though Long Beach still counted as LA County, but it's so much nicer than LA.
Sure.
And for people that work out, you could not find better.
Gyms everywhere, too.
You got hikes everywhere. You got gyms everywhere. You got everything that you want around you. And plus, you want to go to San Diego? It's an hour and a half away. You want to go to Mexico? It's 2 hours away. You want to go to the desert? An hour away.
If you want to go to LA, what, an hour of that?
That's about 45 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah, with traffic. If you're by yourself, if you're with someone in the car, it could take you 30 minutes. You could hop in the carpool lane. You're right over there.
So,
you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to do it. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's more expensive. But is it?
Right.
But is it? Like, you're much, much, much happier.
Sure.
You're
what are you paying for?
Absolutely. Why are we here?
Yeah.
Why are we're here to try to be happy. Yeah, when I'm dying, I'm not going to take the money with me. Yeah. I'm not taking this or that. I just want to have a good life.
I agree.
You know what I mean? That's it. And plus, you come settle over here. Are your kids in Monterey as well?
Yeah.
dude, they're gonna love
They're
you
gonna love
as
you
a
here.
dad. You're gonna go to the beach all the time.
They're gonna love
You're
it. I
gonna
already
be
know.
you're gonna be that rock star dad. I
The
promise
schools
you
are really
that.
good over here too.
Schools
That's
are
what I was
really
getting
good.
ready to ask you
Yeah.
about, because that's one of the first things I look at is like, what are the school systems?
That
like?
is
Personally.
always a problem. You're right. When you're a dad, you don't look at, well, for us, for me at least, it's always, is it dog friendly, and then of course,
Sure.
kids friendly, this and
Yeah.
that. Always two things that you look for.
Sure.
I think Huntington Beach, Newport, used to be in Cypress before. Yeah, Orange County got a lot of cities that have good school districts.
Right on.
A
Right on.
lot of school
I've
districts.
heard
Yeah,
that. I've
yeah,
heard that.
Yeah. So trust me, you will. How far away is Monterey from here?
It's about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad
Yeah.
at all. And I'm up and on the road so
Yeah,
frequently now.
yeah.
Doesn't even seem like it's that long.
I
You know?
feel ya. Now let's talk about what are you working on besides the bodybuilding? I know you're working. Are you working with this brand like full time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes,
this
sir.
is your own brand.
Oh no, this is my clothing sponsor.
Got it.
Yeah.
How long have you been working with them?
It's been about almost a year.
Yeah.
A year pretty soon. Holy smokes, might even be a year now.
They've been good to you.
Absolutely. Randall Pitch is the owner, the CEO. He's a fantastic friend of mine. Known him for some years now.
How did that come to play?
Oh man, so crazy story. So
Okay. See, there's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
yeah, so I'm friends with a guy named Tori Woodward, and Tori's a fellow competitor, also an Olympian. So shout out to Tori.
There you go.
Tori was actually LiveFit's very first athlete when Randall was competing.
Okay.
And Randall and I met when we were competing together as well through Tori. And I was at an expo. I want to say, I can't even remember. It was one of these contests, one of these expos where Tori and I began talking, and Randall and I began talking. And when, we kind of started feeling the energy together,
Right.
the opportunity presented itself. I got a phone call from Randall, and he asked me to join the team.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
And
we've
you've been
known
with
each
them
other for a while, for a long time.
for a year. No.
I've known Randall for about 4.5, 5.
Okay.
Before I competed, I've known Randall.
Got it.
Yeah, it's been about a year now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Proud of you, brother.
I appreciate
Proud
it.
of
Thank
you.
you.
And
Fantastic
they got
stuff.
some nice stuff. I'm not gonna lie. It's just the stuff I'm looking at right now.
And
Looks-
ladies, they take care of you guys too. They got some leggings coming out tonight, or
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Okay. What time tomorrow?
5 o'clock PST.
PST,
got
5
some
o'clock
things, some
PST.
things
Look
coming out.
for it. He's going to send me the link, so I will have the link down below.
Some shorts, some crop tops,
Yeah.
lots of stuff.
There you go. I'm going to have his Instagram as well. Don't forget to go press that follow button. To
Appreciate
his
it.
Instagram. Oh, my God. Absolutely. Okay. So I bet you're one of those dudes where you have like people walking up to you and they're like, dude, help me out.
Sure.
I'm so depressed. I can't look at myself in the mirror anymore. And I'm pretty sure you get, kind of like people walking up to you like that all the time. What do you tell them? What is the advice that you always go for?
Usually it's I just try my best to level with that person and try to
Mhm.
figure out their why. What's going on behind, we'll say under the surface. If
Right.
it's something that they're trying to achieve physically,
Mhm.
they're trying to manifest that in a physical way. Usually there's something subconscious or something under the surface that's fueling that.
Mhm.
And if you can kind of tap into that, usually we can accomplish whatever is coming after. So I just try to figure out what they're trying to get to,
Got
any limitations that they have, what's important to them, and then we can work from that point. If it's, acquiring a client or just working with someone that you know.
Got it. So this is a question I always ask personal trainers. Being overweight is a big problem in this country. You know what I mean? It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I feel like people don't know how to put a stop to that. And they do have their reasons. People are working too much. People can't afford a personal trainer. People can. There's a lot of can'ts involved in life. And I know sometimes you can't take all the negatives. You got to look at the positives.
Right.
But let's just go with the financials.
Sure.
Personal trainers, they can be expensive.
Absolutely.
They can be very expensive. They're ranging between $60 to $100 some an hour, whatever. Unless if you're in a class, that's different. What's the sad part is that most of the trainers, they're not even making all that money. So they're not really the bad guys. They're barely making a very tiny portion of that.
Sad but true.
Minimum
Sad but
wage,
true.
if even. Trust me. They're making that $10 to $20 in that hours of yours.
Facts.
The gym make most of that money. Is that fair that the gyms are making most of that money? Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No, I've worked in a couple of different gym settings.
Mhm.
I've worked in a gym setting where they provided a service
Uh-huh.
that helped, to bring clients your way.
Right.
and they took a substantial amount of that off top.
24 hours, one of them,
Yeah.
crunch.
I feel like
name it.
if you have to earn your clients, if you have to go and pull those clients off the floor, and that's all about you, then you're earning that.
Right.
You know, I feel like, you know, there's a gray area, obviously, but I'm on the side of the trainers, absolutely.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. But to the people who can't really afford that amount, what do you do if you're them? You want to get back into shape. What's the advice you say to them?
So I believe that there's so many different avenues to ways to educate yourself on certain things. I try my best to perceive myself as someone who's approachable.
Got it.
Ask someone that you see. If it's someone that if it's a matter of not having the funds, not having the money, I really would say find a way to be active. Figure out what you like to do, what makes you happy to do it, something that you're going to be able to fulfill consistently, because that's what it takes is consistency. It might not necessarily be that a trainer may not be the best thing for you. It may be finding something that you can do on your own that you're going to look forward to doing. And it may not even be a gym.
Right.
Lifting a dumbbell made of iron isn't the best thing for everyone.
Right.
An indoor setting at 5:00 a.m. may not be the best thing for someone. It might be a jog in the afternoon. It might be jump roping in the morning. It might be, taking a walk with your son. It could be different things. I would just advocate for just being active. The human body is so incredibly remarkable in that it can do so many different things.
Yeah.
I do a fraction of what it's capable of doing, a very minuscule fraction of that. I don't necessarily move extraordinarily well. I don't run fast for any necessarily reason. I train my body to do what it does.
That's it.
I'm not very athletic in any regard, but I'm not trying to be. I was at one point. But I feel like human beings, we can do so many different things. Just be active.
I got you. Completely understandable. If you could go back in time, and I know it's a weird question, but it's one of those questions that I always try to ask people if I can. But if you could go back in time, what is one thing you would tell your younger, self of you? I mean, what would you tell yourself when you were 18, 17? What are the mistakes that you think you could have avoided back at that age?
Be patient.
Be patient.
Right away.
Damn.
Be patient.
That's a big key. That's a big.
Be patient. That was my one of the things that right away. I think wisdom comes with time.
Right.
You can read a book and be intelligent, but I think wisdom comes with time, and in order to be able to humble yourself enough to sit down and recognize the lessons while they're in front of your face. I think that it takes a humble person to be able to sit and learn lessons consistently, and I needed to be patient.
Right.
And so if I could tell myself anything, it'd be, dude, just bro, be patient.
Yep. No, dude, you're absolutely right, because a lot of people, they want to work out and they want to look great within 5 days. Yeah. They want to get to that level within 5 days. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to give it the time. Yeah. You got to give it, it's a craft, like I said. It nothing comes overnight anyways.
Yeah. In anything, it was something that I learned, and not even necessarily with just fitness too, like opportunities I had. Not every opportunity that's worth taking has a dollar sign attached to it. Some opportunities, you're going to do some work and it's going to cost you some money. For sure. And I needed to be patient enough to learn those lessons.
Would you be okay if your kids don't turn out to be bodybuilders?
I would absolutely be elated if my kids never. I would rather
they never touch dumbbell.
Yeah, great, good. Go be an artist.
You'd be okay with it, huh?
Absolutely.
That's because, that would be actually kind of cool, because I mean, very few example I can think of, like you see, Arnold, for example, on The Best to Ever Do It. You see all his kids, they're looking fit as hell. Yeah. I know the genes help, but
I mean, my youngest son he's interested in what his dad does because I'm his hero.
Of course, you're Superman to him.
Yeah,
you can't do no wrong.
I try, man. When it comes to fathering my sons, I just try to be the coolest guy they know. I try to be. I'm not their friend, and I would love to be their friend at some point in their life. I tried to have friend qualities. The world we live in doesn't necessarily prompt me to be very friendly in that regard. My job is to prepare them for the world.
The future.
Absolutely. However, I do try to be the coolest guy they know.
Of course.
Because in my experiences, I didn't look to the smartest person or the person with the biggest work ethic or the guy that had the biggest bank account or something. I just looked to the guy that had my attention. He had my attention. He was the coolest guy I knew, and that was the person that was influencing me. It wasn't my dad. It was a different person.
Right.
If it's LeBron James or it's Lil Wayne or whoever.
Was your dad in your life? Or
absolutely. My dad's phenomenal, but he worked so hard.
Right.
And he wasn't necessarily the guy that was going to be. My dad's a blue collar, hard worker, never complains, gets it done, doesn't care how it looks like. He's going to make it happen. The society and the era that we live in is not that. And my kids notice everything. They live on an iPad. Their dad is the coolest guy they know. He has to be.
You can't really, you know what I mean? Like you can try to get them in the future, but you can't protect them forever.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah.
And not mostly with this technology nowadays and the phones and the iPads and this and that. They're going to see it, and the truth can be very ugly.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not a pretty world out there.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah. And they're getting exposed to it earlier and earlier.
Yeah, and the problem is everybody keeps saying, "Oh my God, I used to be outside all the time when I was in his age or her age or whatever." Yeah, but there weren't as many creeps as they are right now. And right now, you open the news, all you see is kidnapping, this, that. I don't know if I want to let any of my kids like be outside ever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You also couldn't educate yourself in the ways that your 7-year-old can educate himself on his own right now. And so, I just try. I instill the values that I believe in my sons very, very efficiently. I'll say I don't play around with my sons. They mean everything to me. But in order to maintain their attention uninterrupted, I'm the coolest guy they know. When school was in, when I used to pick up my kids from school, I show up at their school. I'm the coolest guy at that school when I show up, and they're happy to be my kids.
Is a college degree to you very important?
Yes and no. I got my degree in psychology just because I needed to understand myself.
Okay.
I never really had any intention of using it in any employment capacity. I have. But it was never the aim. It was absolutely not, the motivation. I needed to learn myself.
Got it.
And I was in certain relationships to where I was fortunate to have courses that enabled me to navigate certain relationships, cooperative argumentation. Shout out to Miss Matthews.
There you go.
I learned how to navigate through a tough relationship by learning the different manners you can argue, different purposes. So I just needed to understand me, dude. Like I learned really early that if I don't understand myself, nothing makes sense to me. And so sophomore year of high school, I had a crush on the teacher.
There you go.
And she happened to teach psychology, and I sat in her class. And after I got over how beautiful she was, I started listening, and I learned a lot of stuff, dude. And
it took him like a quarter semester.
You know what I mean? Man,
it took him like a quarter semester.
It took a minute. And then I caught Sigmund Freud. And I caught Erickson. And I started listening to her, and so I don't know. Psychology for me is all about understanding what's between my ears, and then I started being able to relate. And if you're around people, at any point, you might want to understand them, and so I do my very best to do that. Psychology allowed that for me.
I feel. Is there I know is that what you majored in college?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Man, I don't know. I'm not the biggest believer in college. I just feel like it's the biggest waste. I feel like the kids graduate nowadays with way too much.
I'll tell you right now.
Way too much. The mortgage.
I could have learned what I learned.
Oh, please preach. He's about to preach right now. Hold for it.
I'm like, I could have absolutely learned what I spent thousands of dollars learning. I could have learned that on my own.
Absolutely.
If the interest, is there, you'll learn it.
It's
absolutely.
Yeah.
I was interested beyond words,
Listen, I think college is very, very important in a kid's life. Absolutely. Yeah. It's just the way, man, the system. Yeah. You get out of college, you're happy to finally be independent. Finally, I'm going to go look for a job. I'm going to, work. I'm going to make some money. But hold up. Boom. Here's a mortgage already.
I feel like unless you're in like applied sciences, like some kind of biomechanics, biology or something, or you're dealing with like direct, like the law. Mm-hmm. I mean, those institutions alone almost like control their own education.
Yep.
Academia is almost like an in-house thing for those two organizations. So
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's almost
It's
obsolete.
BS. The system is. I'm not one of those like, hey, the system is rigged, man. But it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Kids shouldn't be graduating at 21, 22 with, I don't know, 80,000, 200,000, 150,000 worth of freaking college.
I had a class. I had a class that was crazy expensive. The book was stupid expensive. The book was written by the professor.
Uh-huh.
He writes a new version every year that's mandatory, changes a couple paragraphs in the book, writes a new version, charges you another like $300 for the book. It's crazy. I think there are other ways to educate yourself.
Got you.
Way more efficient ways.
I feel you. Who's your manager right now?
Manager.
Do you have a manager at all?
No, sir.
No manager, just
No.
managing yourself?
Yes, sir. Any manager, shout out. Do I need a
Give him
manager?
a call.
I need a manager.
Well, I thought you had a manager at one point. No?
I need a manager.
You need a manager?
Yeah.
Someone
my life is
good.
chaotic.
Someone who's
Absolutely.
good. Someone doesn't steal.
Yeah, I'll tell you right
Someone
now.
doesn't rip you off.
Organization isn't my strong point.
Uh-huh.
But I'm doing my very best. I got.
Could you manage yourself? I think so.
Could I or should I?
That's a good question. Could you? Or
Some other things would probably suffer a little bit.
But okay, that's actually a good question. Should you manage yourself if someone is in the bodybuilding industry? That's actually a very good question. Thank you.
You know what? I have my best friend Katie
Mm-hmm.
Taylor has been doing a great job of keeping me psychologically intact.
Yeah.
Helps me with my travel. She's my training partner
Yeah.
first and foremost. She probably is my manager. Start putting her on payroll.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
You put on payroll.
I need to.
First one. It's like I need to put
Can
on
we cut
payroll.
that?
Yeah,
No, I'm just playing.
It's raw. We don't cut anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. You got a lot of people on Instagram that watches your stuff. Go ahead, take a minute to promote whatever it is you want to promote. Say hello to your fans. Say hello to the family. Any shout outs? My friend, the mic is all yours.
Oh man, holy smokes! I don't do this very well. Give me a minute.
Oh, take your time.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank everyone for just following me and rocking with whatever I do. It's a tremendous honor just to have you guys, follow what I do. I do it because I love to, and the fact that you guys even give a damn, it fills my heart. So I appreciate you. I got a dope ass podcast coming out. I'm excited to talk about it. It's called More Than Muscle. I'll leave it at that, but be ready for that. We are recording tomorrow. We're dropping something pretty soon.
Damn.
Thank you for all the help, Operation Podcast, for helping me put that together. Randall Pitch, I appreciate you. I love you for these shorts. Stay tuned. We got some Ant Woods signature series Live Fit shorts coming pretty soon in a couple of weeks. My boys, Anthony and Phoenix, I love you guys more than the whole entire world. And everyone who's watching what I'm doing, I appreciate you. Thank you.
There you go. If you need any help with your new podcast, you could call me anytime.
I need a guest for sure.
I got you anytime.
And I need some
Dude,
advice for sure.
I'm right there. Advice-wise, I'm there. Guest-wise, I'm there. I hope this freaking blows up. I'm
you
not
got it
joking.
on camera, right? He said he's going to help me through. He's gonna
I
be there?
got
All
you,
right.
brother. I'll help you with... dude, it took me 3 years
Oh, my gosh.
for this setup.
Holy
I
smokes.
wanted to take my time so that I can set it
Now
up the
you're
right
selling
way.
yourself short. You've been wanting to do it for 3 years.
That's true, yeah.
But I'd say a couple months before the virus hit, he was like, nah, we need to start collecting all the equipment and stuff.
Mhm.
And then as soon as this coronavirus crazy stuff happened, he's like, that's it. I'm done with work. I'm going to
Yep.
do this.
That's it. I just wanted to
Let's
commit it
do it.
full time.
And we
Dude.
figured it out step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just take a minute to salute this guy for a minute? Because I tell you, there's one thing is anyone can talk about what they want to do, and I'm one to be guilty of doing that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just to to talk about what you have dreams of doing, and to even put extras, and to do it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
But dude, if you pull the trigger and you put rubber to ground.
Well, I'm
right,
going to tell you,
salute
the first thing that worked for me is the recipe of the people that surround me. I got, beautiful Alien production, and she does everything in that side that I don't have
Sure.
to stress about.
Sure.
So once this interview is done, I got to go and prepare for my next guest or for my next podcast. So I do about 4 podcasts a week. I do 2 with my co-host where we break down every NFL game,
Wow.
every NBA game, and literally we give picks, we give this, we give that, and we break down every single play.
I
Like
need
literally.
to subscribe.
Yes, you
Please.
do. Yes, you do. And then we do about two guests a week from different platforms. This week I was lucky.
It's been bodybuilder week this week.
This week it was bodybuilding week. It
Holy
just
smokes.
It just worked out that way.
But I have the person that booked you, Happy Kathy. She takes care of that side. I don't have to stress about. I've never talked to a guest until I meet them in the show.
That's dope.
Literally.
That's dope.
So she was the one that messaged them. You were, you were very direct. You told her about the days, whatever. There's a lot of people who are very direct. They're like, here's the days that work for me, whatever. And she'll just go with the schedule, and she's
super helpful.
Perfect at that.
Thank you, Kathy, by the way.
Super perfect at that. I could not do that job better than her. And I couldn't do Olivia's job better than hers. And that gives me time to prepare for my next podcast. So I'm telling you, the first recipe to this, you got to surround yourself with the right
Have a solid team.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get burnout. It can be overwhelming if you try and do everything
you're
yourself.
You're going to be burned out.
I see.
It's not easy when you prepare for a podcast because trust me, we pulled about 45 minutes to an hour.
What, this morning?
Yeah, no. I'm talking about the right now about this podcast today. So about 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Yeah, almost.
Yeah, so 45
we're about
minutes
to hit
an hour.
58 minutes. Yeah.
My co-host had to cancel yesterday's podcast, so we threw it this morning. We did it early morning.
Jeez.
She edited it, threw it. Even though we do raw footage, it just that beginning, that end, mixing it, making it look sexy, whatever. It's still presentation.
And all the SEO stuff for the YouTube.
It takes
and
time.
Descriptions and timestamps.
Exactly. And by the way, look at the equipment. You got a mixer, you got lights, you got cameras, you got this.
So if you guys can't see this stuff, it looks state of the art.
And it's in our kitchen.
It's amazing.
So it's just you just gotta give it time. Surround yourself with the right people, and I'm always a phone call away, my friend. Always a phone.
Means
it's
everything.
a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
means
coming
the world,
down
man.
here.
Thank you so much.
If you need anything, I am there for you. Beautiful Ali, thank you so much.
Ali, thank you.
Of course,
And to the next one. This one is a wrap. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a good one.